Yo, yo, yo. What's good? ASAP family. We here, man. We here. We live. Let me see. Phone going off. We live, man. Hey, man. We live right now, man. What's good? Let me see what we got in the building. Let's see. Throw the comments up here. Yeah. Let me see. And so if anybody want to come on live, I'm waiting on Ezra to get on here. He gonna be on here shortly, and we're gonna talk about the night, man. Vergil Ortiz, Michael McKinson, real interesting, man. That was a real interesting fight. Vergil showed a little bit of ring rust in there. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's so crazy because with these fighters, like, there's no way. Hold on, give me 1 second. Ezra, that shoot my boy. Yeah, it is. What's going on, bro?
What's up? What's up? Thanks for having me on.
No, we good. We good. Nah, man. So how you feel? You know, I gotta jump right into it, man. How you
Yeah.
about the Vergil Ortiz performance, man?
I liked it. I seen that you saw you weren't too you didn't think it was that great of a performance, but I really liked it. You know, the thing about Virgil is everything he does is kind of like subtle. I know it's not like to me like it's nothing out really stands out as far as like him defensively or the way his leg movement, but I think he has a lot of tricks. I think he could do a lot of things in the ring that maybe he doesn't get credit for.
Yeah,
But one thing he doesn't do is show any respect to. He hasn't shown any respect to anyone he's been in the ring with. Not one
facts,
person yet. And
facts.
was another thing where he didn't show the guy any respect. Now, did he get caught a few times? Yeah, you're going to do that when you're an offensive guy and you come forward and you walk into someone's
Yeah,
range and you're willing to do that. But I think it's also because he didn't respect the guy and he didn't respect the power and he didn't respect Maurice Hooker, and Maurice Hooker has power, but he didn't respect that. He didn't respect Mean Machine's power. Kind of, got caught because of that. But he hasn't respected anyone's power yet. Now, I think at a higher level, a guy like Boots, a guy like Crawford or Spence, I think it might see a little bit different from him, right? A little more patience, a little bit. But right now, he feels he's so much levels above anyone he's fighting that he just feels like I'm going to march him down. You know what I mean? I'm going to go and get him.
So one thing that kind of well, let me say this. I think that with Vergil Ortiz, I think one of the many things that's underrated about Vergil Ortiz is his footwork. I think people
Mm-hmm.
he don't get enough credit for his footwork. And every time we had this conversation, I always refer people back to that fight in the bubble with Sam Vargas. I think he showed incredible footwork in that
He was
fight.
turning him
Yeah.
really bad. Yeah.
And one thing I'll say, and he even turned McKinson a couple times.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
And one thing that I will say that I like, and that's something I like about Vergil. But another thing that I like about Vergil is that for the most part, he always establishes his jab, right? Like he's a fighter that he establishes jab. He's going to work the body. He does the foot feinting. He gives you different levels and shit. Like Vergil is really technically sound. Like he's a good fighter. Like you know what I'm saying. But this fight, I mean, he wasn't. Now, granted, I guess he's just walking through the front door, right? That's the term. He's just walking through the front door. But I think this fight could have been easier for him if he would have established the jab. Now, clearly the game plan was to go to the body. Clearly that was the game plan, like from the beginning. But it was like you're not establishing your jab. That's a red flag for me because at this point we're not looking at you to beat. We know you're going to beat a Michael McKinson. We're looking at you versus Crawford. We're looking at you versus Spence. We're looking at you Boots or Thurman or the other top welterweights. So my thing is coming in, you can't go in against one of them guys and not try to like establish your jab. Like it's certain shit like that, man, that I think that I just didn't like. He was like squaring up a lot. You know what I'm saying? He was whiffing a lot of punches. He was like throwing a lot of like leaping hooks and shit like that.
Yeah.
He kind of looked like Conor Ben versus Granados. I don't know if you remember that fight.
Yeah, I do. I remember that fight. Yes.
Like it was like, I don't want to say amateurish, but he looked like a prospect. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was like
he hadn't tightened it up yet. That's what kind of looked
but
like.
again,
He hadn't tightened it up
this is awkward and he can make you look bad. So I will give McKinson that, like, but I just like after watching this fight, I'm not like, yeah, Vergil's ready for a title shot. I personally wouldn't put him in the ring with Crawford or Spence. And I'm just saying that because they both got the belts.
What's Virgil's age right now?
He's what, 24?
He's like 24, 24. You know,
Yeah.
really the funny is because like right now, you know, everyone's kind of used to everybody just going straight for the title shots like really early in your career. 23 years old, 24 years old, 25 years old. Everybody's kind of ready for the top guy in the division. Or we kind of expect that now. Kind of started with Tio. If you kind of was Tio started off like 22 years old, went and fought Lomachenko.
Yep.
He's really in a good position because he doesn't need to fight these guys right now. He's ranked high and all that, but he doesn't need to fight all these guys. He can still do these kind of fights where these are, you know, a good competition, and he could keep blowing these guys, keep blowing past these guys, and then just keep building it up for about another 2 more years. He don't need to rush into anything right now.
This is what I say, because then that's going to put Vergil in a situation like Jaime Munguia, right? Because if we don't want him fighting the champions at welterweight, then when he moves up to 54, you can't tell me that he's going to be ready to go directly into a Jamel Charlo. It's a lot of guys at 54 I want to see Vergil up against like directly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now, mind you, Jaime Munguia had a belt at 54. He fought all of his time at 160, never fought for a title. Now they're talking about Jaime Munguia fighting John Ryder at 68. So he fought fucking fight 10 fights at 160 and never fought. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna get to that, and I don't want them to do that. I don't want them to do that with shit with Vergil. You know what I'm saying? Like I want Vergil to challenge for a championship. That way he can move up to 154 with some confidence. Because at 154, Tony Harrison, that's a tough fight. Charlo, I don't think he's gonna win. Tim Tszyu, that's a tough ass fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like Lubin, I think it's a lot of those guys. Now, granted, I know they're not Golden Boy. But a lot of the guys at 54, they're tough outs. A lot of them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that I wouldn't want him to not fight one of them and then move up to 54 thinking he's going to fight a champion. That's you know what I'm saying?
In the position that Boots is in, because I think they're kind of similar positions, really. I mean, Boots isn't going to get, and what up, Hitman? Congrats on your win today. I saw that. Man,
congrats on that win for real, too. Yeah.
You know, Boots is kind of the same position. You know, we're talking about Boots versus Thurman. I don't think Thurman's going to take that fight. Honestly, I don't see what he gets out of that fight. I don't. Just doesn't make sense to me. I think Thurman rather fight Charlo honestly than Boots. I really do. I think he'd be like at least get paid for that. So I think, you know, Boots and him are in the same position. I think that they're the guys that are going to be marching towards each other. I think that's the fight right there to make. I think if they could get, you know, let's say Vergil Ortiz, right? Let's just say what's on his side of the street. So let's say he fights an Avanesian, Connor Ben. Those aren't bad fights, and those are a decent level fights at the top of the division. I don't think it's a Munguia situation where they're like scraping the bottom of the barrel to get it. I don't think he's there yet. And also, be honest with you, Munguia is just not very good. I mean, to compare to Munguia is just not good.
Don't think Munguia good?
I think Munguia is food for everyone at middleweight, and I think that Golden Boy knows that too.
I like Munguia, bro. That's another conversation. We
could go on that one later, but that's what I'm saying. I can't compare him again because this guy I think is legit one of the better talents we have in boxing right now. Yeah. I'm not saying that he can't fight for title because I think he could give all these guys trouble. I seen someone say that I saw someone on Twitter say that he's food for the top guys at 147. I don't see that at all. He's not food for Boots. I promise you that. He's not food for Boots. Boots could win that fight very much. I think I would pick Boots to win that fight. But that's a tough fight. That's a tough win. And Vergil Ortiz is going to land in that fight, and he's going to make it tough for him. Ain't no one going to run through this guy. I don't care who it is. Any level of the guy. He's not Ugas. He's not even Sean Porter. He's not Thurman right now, where Thurman is right now. He's not those guys. So people saying so, you know, I don't think he's gonna get run through everyone. I think he's too skilled for that. And I think what you're seeing from him is just kind of just complete lack of respect for his opponents. That's just the truth of it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I like I said, I like Vergil. Like I said, man, maybe he's just I got that old school mindset where I want fighters to like establish the fundamentals. Like Earl Spence, no matter how big a Earl Spence get, when he get in that ring, he's establishing a jab. Earl Spence will counter you with a jab, right? It's just certain things. Earl Spence is cutting that ring off. Like even tonight, like Vergil was, like I said, granted, I'm gonna give McKinson his props. He's a tough out. He just super awkward, but like. Super awkward doesn't account for not establishing a jab. Super awkward doesn't account for like not properly cutting the ring off. And we've seen Vergil cut a ring off before, right? I don't know what it is. Even me, like when I was doing some training, I feel like I never really had a problem cutting the ring off. Like you take a step this way, I'll take a step this way. Maybe my head is good with math because really cutting the ring off is like a math thing, like in your head. I don't know how that, like I can't compute that or give that out to you correctly, but like I know being in the ring, okay, if you trying to come out this side, like even me, like if I'm got you in the corner and you rolling out, like are you trying to roll out to my right, which would be your left, I'm throwing the overhand right, bro. I'm gonna try to catch you leaving out. I don't know, bro. And granted, I'm not no pro. I ain't do none of that shit. I actually haven't been in the gym in a minute. I need to get my ass back in. But I'm understanding like small things about cutting the ring off. And honestly, you can't just jump in there. But this is shit like I just don't understand, man.
I don't think we had a problem with that. I mean, I guess when he hurt him right in that one round, and then McKinson just kind of moved around the ring. But I thought kind of Vergil was just kind of like, I'm going to get him. It's kind of just like I'm going to get him. I really didn't see any problems he had tonight. I'm be honest. I think McKinson landed at points, but I thought McKinson's strategy. What do you think of McKinson's strategy first of all? Because he kind of stood in there.
His strategy, I think his strategy was to try to, I guess, stand his ground with Vergil, and then maybe take him to deep waters. Like that was.
There's a thing like when you're a boxer, everybody, kind of assumes like, oh, you're just going to move around the ring. But no, a lot of times what Floyd would do, especially when he fought Pacquiao the first 2 rounds, he stood his ground early, got Pacquiao not to gain the momentum of coming forward, right? Kind of threw Pacquiao off for the first few rounds. A lot of times a boxer, you got to take away what this guy wants to do. He wants forward momentum. I'm going to take it away from him. And McKinson went in there knowing, hey, I ain't going to get a decision if I just completely run around and don't land a jab and this guy's going forward. I better set a tone early in this fight. So at least I'm going to get the judges at least leaning in my direction early. He tried that. He went in there and tried to win the fight. Wasn't going to work. Wasn't going to happen. And when Ortiz realized that I'm just more gifted than this guy, he could take chances. He could come in and swing wild and look for the highlight thing. Now, I get you're saying with Spence, Spence kind of does consistently. He consistently applies his game correctly. But that's kind of Spence's style, right? Because Spence's style is like, I'm going to get in there. I don't have to put everything on my shots. I'm going to break you down. I'm going to hit you with the jab at distance. It's kind of like he kind of just applies his style to everyone. When I think guys like Crawford, Boots, and even sometimes Ortiz, I think they feel like they have a little more explosiveness as far as like, I can land this big shot and just end it right here. Yeah, exactly. Spence is more patient. Spence is like, I'll just break you down. Eventually I'm going to break you down. I'm more patient. He's more patient-minded too. I think he's very calm presence in the ring. These guys are very tense, I think, and they think I can land this big shot. So I thought once he realized what he had in front of him, it was nothing. He said, "I'm gonna take a few chances. Let's see what I do." He eventually got him out of there.
Sure, I want to see. So I think me personally, and somebody disagree with me, but I really like Vergil Ortiz versus Alexis Rocha. I really would like to see that fight. It's a Golden Boy fight. I think it makes sense. Why not? I mean, because clearly, and that fight that he just won, that was a WBA eliminator. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know what kind of sanctioning body games they playing, because both of them was like 2 or 3 in the WBA. I thought this was a WBO sanctioned fight until like yesterday. I saw that this was a WBA eliminator. So now I'm like, are they fighting for Stanionis? Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was kind of weird to me.
I think they're kind of I think that everybody kind of feels a little shaky now about Spence Crawford happening. Yeah, and I think people are trying to position themselves because they think Spence is about to move out of the weight class. Yeah. And they're trying to position themselves for that title shot. I think everybody kind of thinks, if Spence doesn't get Crawford, then, Spence is going to move up. And if he does, he's going to drop all his belts. So everybody's trying to position themselves, because Crawford might not drop the belt. Crawford might just be like, all right, I'll keep this belt and fight someone else in his weight division. You know what I mean? I'm a free agent right now. I go anywhere. So I think everybody's just trying to position themselves for a belt.
And I think that's a bad plan if he think he want I don't think he should fight Crawford. I think if Spence had to move up, let's say the fight didn't get made, I think Spence moves up anyway. He vacates WBA, IBF, and the WBA, IBF, and the BC.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
Yeah,
maybe like a purse bid between like a Stanionis and Vergil.
Yeah,
but that's a. I didn't even thought about that fight. Vergil versus Stanionis, bro. That's a fucking fight.
It's a good fight. It's a good style matchup. It's an excellent style matchup.
I like Stanionis. I like Stanionis with a lot of these guys, man.
Stanionis is one of those guys where I'm never high on him when I'm looking at him, but the results I can't look past. You know what I mean? Because I thought Butev was going to run through him, and he broke down Butev. So, what can I say?
I'm about to bring somebody else in here. Big Doom. I never heard of him, but hey, Big Doom, we're going to bring you up in here. What's going on, Big Doom?
You see that ground game from Ortiz? It's kind of like that.
Come on, man. This guy.
That happened to me. Literally happened to me. You say this happened to you already? Did you say this happened to you? Second time they got you?
Bro. I think that was him that did that yesterday.
He got you twice.
Bro, what's up with these guys, man?
I don't know. I don't know who has the time to do it. I just don't get who has the time to do it. But
but you know what? That's it. I'm not adding nobody else to this motherfucker. That's over.
at least know their Twitter name. You know what I mean? Know their Twitter handle.
Look, yesterday I said, you know what? I'm not gonna add nobody in that's not showing their face. I'm like, oh, this dude showing his face. Okay.
That's the thing the showed his face and still went for it. That's a bold move. That's a real bold move.
Word. No, it's all good. And he probably one of Rick Glazer's cronies. You know what I mean?
Maybe. The thing is, I mean, I do troll Rick Glazer once in a while because what I was dying about is that it's the real Rick Glazer. Before there was ever any fake Rick Glazers.
Yeah.
It's the real one. You know what kind of foresight that is to be like, there's going to be some fake ones. They need to know which one the real one is. And then the other day, I looked it up because I'm an idiot. And I looked up Rick Glazer just to see if it was available. It's available. The name Rick Glazer is available. He chose real Rick Glazer over the name just Rick Glazer. That's funny. That's
funny. That dude's weird, man. A lot of these guys, man, they don't want to admit that they're in the same boat as me or as you. You and I like to call us new media. I mean, but if you a guy like a Glazer or a lot of these guys, a Montero, a lot of these guys, y'all motherfuckers are just fans too, man. You might have had a couple dealings within the sport. Like I think Montero gets a vote on like on the pound for pound list or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
It's no. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, but it's just like, but essentially, like that don't mean you got no fucking credentials. Like that don't mean that you know what I'm saying? That don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that weird, I don't know about to say a word, but that weird stuff, man, y'all gotta stop that, man. That's pretty crazy.
I added someone the other day because I was like, hey, message me privately, right? Like, let me hear what you're gonna talk about before I add you on. He's like, oh, I want to talk about the Jake Paul drama, and I was like, all right. I add him, and it was just like a 14-year-old kid just cussing up a storm, and I was like, all right, I gotta get you off.
Yo, this dude literally is sitting at his computer. I don't know what coast he on. Like, I'm on the East Coast, so it's like fucking 1 a.m. You know what I mean? And what time is it? It's 12:30, and he literally sitting at his computer to do that, bro.
His face too, though. Like, you understand?
Yeah, like he was
his face. His face is on this video forever.
Yeah, that shit is weird, bro.
That's why I was talking about, like, the media. Like, okay, like I look at like Dan Rafael, right? He gets paid to do this. This is his career.
Yeah.
Right. Like, this is his career. Have you seen Dan Rafael when he does an interview? He literally just holds a cell phone this close to his face and does an interview. And it's like, I mean, I'm just like, me and you were just guys at the house putting this together. Yeah. You could have put more thought process into this.
That's crazy, man. This shit, salute Boost and Vergil is one for the future. I don't think Vergil going to like you right. I don't think Vergil going to take that fight. I just don't see the reasoning. Like, he could be built up on Golden Boy. He could fight, and then in my mind now, because now I'm kind of just looking at this bigger picture. I never really, maybe I don't know where my head's been at, but I never really realized how much the zone and Matchroom work with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like me talking about the Munguia fight. Munguia and Ryder is a Matchroom guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he ranked in the sanctioning bodies at 168. And that's what I was talking about, because he ain't not fighting for a belt at 160. Now he's too big for 160. So now he got to move up to 168. He's gonna have to fight a John Ryder, and then what? Maybe a Canelo fight? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's happening? Now, I think that's a plan. Like, kind of when I got my mind on, I think, okay, move Munguia up to 68, let him beat a Ryder, let him get another good win, put him in there versus Canelo.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, that's not
Mexico, bro. If I'm Eddie Hearn, I'm salivating over having a fucking a fight with Munguia and Canelo. But I don't know if Canelo would let Oscar get a bag like that.
See, that's one of the things interesting too, is if Zerto fights Bivol, and just say Zerto pulls it off, right? Just to say Zerto beats Bivol.
He's not.
You don't think Bivol's fighting Zerto?
No.
You don't think Canelo's up? That's the interesting point. That's the interesting part. Does Canelo fight Zerto at 175?
Remember, Zerto was the reason why Canelo came out saying he wasn't going to fight no other Mexican fighters after he had fought Chavez Jr. You know what I mean? And then he said, I'm not fighting no one Mexican, because he didn't want to fucking fight Zerto.
I don't know. They sparred before, so I think he knows what Zerto has. You know what I mean? So
Canelo, man, I think Canelo is a product of good matchmaking. I think he's a good fighter, but I think the opponents in the selection of opponents that he chooses that's what makes him look even better than what he really is. I think when you put him in with guys that are durable, with guys that won't just allow him to kind of dictate the pace of the fight and set the tone and are not starstruck, you get a whole different Canelo. Right?
Who would you say, like right now, who would you say his 3 toughest fights are? Not let's eliminate 175. Let's just say at 168, what would be his 3 toughest fights?
His 3, I think his 3 toughest fights is number 1, I think it's Benavidez.
Okay.
At 168, you want Charlo?
That's what I'm saying. You have to reach from Charlo.
I think he beats Charlo.
Yeah, I think he beats Charlo too. I think he beats Benavidez too.
He's got to kind of figure out how to get past that jab.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though, because I see that a lot. Like it's to say like, oh, it's the matchmaking for Canelo, and he doesn't fight the tough fights. Well, the way I see it is like Bivola's a tough matchup. Now we know he lost it. I think a lot of it had to do with size. People would say skill and all that, but I think mostly I would say if you had to put a pie chart for it, 60 to 70% was just due to size. You're just too small for that weight class. I don't think he'll ever be able to really do anything to Bivola. Punches don't mean anything there. Now, I think that if he fights Benavidez, I'd favor him to beat Benavidez. I think if he fought Charlo, I favor him to beat Charlo. But I just, I'm just kind of like when we say that, I just want to know what fights would kind of be like, okay, then those are legit wins. You know what I mean? And I think Benavidez is, and I think we'll see Benavidez next year or Charlo. I think we're going to see one of those next year.
Yeah, and I know people probably not going to like this, but I think Andre is a real tough fight for Canelo. I know Andre haven't per se fought nobody for me to see. You know how they say, well, who has he fought for you to see? Yeah. But I just think watching Andre and looking at his style, or Andrade, whatever you want to say, I think that's a real tough fight for Canelo as well. Because he's not just going to sit in front of Canelo. He's long. He's awkward. He's a southpaw. Like, I think Canelo could probably catch him and stop him. But I think that's a tough ass fight for Canelo, and he'll have Canelo like rethinking what the fuck he's doing.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of people will use that argument. It's like, well, who has he done it to? And it's like, well, okay, when you're talking resume, yes. And when I talk like pound for pound, I always talk about resume. Yes, that's when you can use that argument. It's like, who is he beat, right? Who is he? We're talking end of the career. How good is he? Who did he beat? But we're talking about guys that could beat each other. It's all eye test. So if you see it, then that's all you have to say is, oh, well, I something I see, right? Because that's like the whole thing I get with like this Janet Beck thing, where it's like, he hasn't beat anyone. I'm not going to say he beat anyone. Of course not. He hasn't beat anyone. I just think he's good. I just think he might be the best middleweight. But that's just purely off what I'm seeing with my eyes. You know what I mean? That's all it is. But I see a lot of people use exactly. A lot of people use that like, well, he hasn't beat anyone. It's like, of course. Well, like Benavidez hasn't beat anyone, but a lot of people think he's really good, right?
Yeah. But even with Benavidez, that's a hard sell because for me, then we start to get into the Adrian Broner conversation because with Benavidez, it's like he ain't beat nobody. But he a 2-time world champion at that division in that division. So it's like I haven't beat who you want me to beat yet, but I'm proving in this division because I'm a 2-time champion here.
But the division could be weak though. I mean, the division could be
for sure. No, for sure.
Yeah, because like who did he win his title versus Gabriel, right? Like he won against Gabriel.
Gabriel, remember he got dropped in the Gabriel fight.
Yeah,
and then he beat up. What was it Jay Leon? No, not Jay Leon. Darrell. Yeah.
That's the thing.
I was at that fight. Yeah, that was on against Sean Porter.
That's the thing too, is like, especially like when the argument for how good the guy is that you beat is how tough of a fight that he gave you. You know what I mean? That's kind of tough to me. Where I'm like, so Gabriel gave him a tough fight, but I haven't seen him do anything since that point, right? Or before that point. So I don't think he's a legit fighter. I think Dave Benavidez is a very good fighter, but he hasn't really beat anyone, in my opinion. He hasn't.
Yeah, I think Darrell was a good win. That was a good win.
Darrell was a good win. I'll give him that.
He stopped him too. I just think certain and a lot of times it's not always the fighter. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's the management. Like you notice, like I think, honestly, and I think Samson only put his guys in when he really think they could win. Like, you know what I mean? Like not seriously. Like
no, yeah, he says it. I mean, he says it.
Yeah, like he don't just throw his guys to the wolves. Like if, like for example, like people talk all this stuff about the Caleb Plant thing. Like that's a fight that team Benavidez turned down before. Facts. They turned that fight down before because he wasn't ready yet. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like I still think he beat Caleb Plant right now. I think he beats Caleb Plant, but that's just I think sometimes it's the promotional team and not just the fighter. But listen,
I don't know. There's not a lot of ducks.
We gotta switch. We gotta switch tones, man. Talk to me about Hooker, man.
It's hard to like. There's a lot of times like we evaluate pre-fight stuff, right? You hear an interview, you see a weigh-in, and we always do this. He looks like he's struggling to make the weight. We don't really know. We just look in our eyes, right?
Yeah.
And I heard it. We heard that interview, and he kind of like a little broken up in it, and he's all over the place, and he's not standing still. And I'm like, man, he just doesn't look to be in a good place. I tweeted out, I was like, doesn't look to be in a good place mentally for this fight.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I'm still picking him to beat Blair Cobbs because I think he's a better fighter than Blair Cobbs.
Yeah.
He wasn't mentally there to be in the fight. Now, at points, right, as a professional fighter, as an experienced fighter, and he's getting hit, he's going to slowly work his way mentally into a fight. Hey, I'm in a fight. I know how to fight. I'm going to go and get mine in there. And as a corner, you just kind of encourage him and hope that he catches it mentally, because this happens in the gym all the time. Exactly. Guy shows up, he's not feeling it. First few rounds, you're just like, all right, we're just going to work through it, and we're going to get in rhythm here. It looked like he might have been able to do that, but he wasn't in shape. So he slowed down towards the second half of the fight. He just wasn't there, honestly. Just mentally wasn't there, physically wasn't there, and just wasn't. And that was just enough for Blair Cobbs to pull it off.
Nah, man. So before the fight, I tweeted that Blair Cobbs is gonna knock him out.
That's a good call.
Now, I haven't followed Maurice Hooker's whole career, but I just think like the last couple times I've seen him talk. Now I know he's from Dallas, so he might got the Earl Spence thing going on where he talk kind of slow. I would like to see an interview from a younger Maurice Hooker to now, because I don't know if he got like a little punch drunk, like
he's like slurring a little bit.
Yeah, because he took a rough ass loss to Jose Ramirez. Like he got punched out against Jose Ramirez. Like, you know what I mean? Then he came back after the Ramirez fight. He had like a fight at 47. That's when he moved up before that 47. So even him being at 147, he couldn't make 140 anymore. But he was never like a dominant force at 47. Like it's like his third fight at 47. Third or fourth fight at 47. So he had never been an established welterweight, man. But the Vergil Ortiz fight, for me, that showed me everything that I need to see, because he quit. People they say he had his arm hurt. I never seen no surgery, no post-op, nothing like that. He got into a rough ass exchange. I watched that shit a lot of times. They got into he was dropped twice before that. He got into a rough exchange, and he was like, you know what, fuck it. And he just went down and was like, my arm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Vergil, like hit them, like I think Vergil hit him with like a fucking right hook or some shit like that. And he just turned around and was like, oh no, my arm.
Yeah.
So you ask me, I think he quit against Vergil Ortiz. And once I see a guy quit in the ring like that, to me, you done. Because now that mental edge that you're supposed to have, that block, it's been impeded. Like it's something in between that block. So you don't have that no more, because you're thinking about getting hit with the punches now. And now it's like, oh, that was too hard. Oh, fuck, I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't like saying that. I don't want to see fighters no more, because I'll say I don't want to see a fighter no more. Then I'll scoot to the edge of my seat when I'm watching Gabe Rosado. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't like telling guys they shouldn't fight no more. But I don't know, man. And I don't want to see him fight anymore, because I don't think Bomac is going to coach him anymore.
Yeah, I think it might be that.
It's like Jamel Herring. I don't think Bomac going to coach him no more. So I don't want to see this dude get another trainer and go try to get another bag and just to get knocked out. Like now he looking like food for Conor Bentley. I don't want, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, he does. He definitely does.
Yeah,
it's a mental game. Like the thing, the little things that can happen, and just like taking a loss, right? It's just like mentally for him, just could have shook him, right? Knock his confidence, and then also, like even in the fight, like I said, he didn't come in mentally good. He started slowly because he was getting hit, had to start fighting back, start building a little more confidence, right? Start getting into the fight. Then Blair starts having injuries, that like he starts to have swelling on his eye, a cut on the other eye, and that slowly built Hooker's confidence. It was the worst thing to happen for Blair, because it built Hooker's confidence. Like, oh, I'm in this fight. I'm actually could probably break him down. Blair had the legs just enough to get him at a danger when he needed to move around the ring, buy him some time, and ride it out to a decision. And I thought he was landing cleaner shots, but yeah, you're right. It's just mentally to see if he could ever get it back. Probably not. A lot of times you can't get it back.
But Mo ain't look steady though. His legs didn't look steady.
He kind of always looked like that though. To be fair,
he always was like sloppy a little bit. I'm not sloppy, but his feet looked a little. Yeah, but he looked soft too. Like I don't doubt that he was 170 pounds in the fucking ring just now.
Yeah, he wasn't in shape. He definitely wasn't. In shape. That's why he couldn't put the pressure on late.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, and then somebody brought to my attention as well. Like, didn't Steve Nelson just miss weight too?
Did he? I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to have a fight on, and I think they canceled the fight because he missed weight. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It was on top right card. On top right card.
Yeah, he was
I think I heard something like that. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what's up with Bomac and these fighters, man. Because one thing I'll say about them, they all train together. It's not like Mo Hooker trained somewhere else and then just go meet Bomac at the end. Like they all train together in college. Like Tim Crawford is like a family damn near.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that shit just kind of threw me for a little loop to see him miss weight like that, to see Steve Nelson miss weight like that. Like what they got going on? Keyshawn Davis just fell out of the fight with an injury.
Yeah.
But I know what's good. So I got a source that's close to Keyshawn Davis, and I kind of know what that was. Keyshawn Davis is going to be on he's going to be on Shakur Stevenson undercard.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
The next question for Blair, that's a good one.
Okay. So all right, I'm gonna go back to that. So for Blair Cobbs, again, right, with Matchroom and DAZN and Matchroom and Golden Boy working together, I think that Blair Cobbs is gonna fight Conor Benn next. I truly think.
I don't hate that fight. I'll be honest with you, I don't hate that fight. I want to see the Eubanks fight. I want to see Ben versus Eubanks, but I don't hate that fight.
Let me see what. Let me see. There we go. Man, they having fun tonight.
I don't know. The people are stupid. I don't know how they have the time. I really don't.
Bro, that's crazy. And listen, this is the thing though. It's not like I got like 140 followers, bro. I mean 140 subscribers. It ain't like I'm a top YouTube page.
I'm telling you, they find the lives. That's all they do is look for lives all day, and they just troll them, dude. And I don't know. People are stupid.
That's crazy. Eating burgers or Bomac.
I think Trill said Steve missed by 7 pounds. Yeah, so he wasn't even coming close. He was busting he was gonna bust a Rockman Jr. with that.
Yeah, that was You know how these guys, man. These I don't know, man. But yeah, I think so. I think that Blair Cobbs, I think he's gonna get a Conor Benn fight. I don't think that Conor Benn is. I think they rethought that Chris Eubank thing, and I think that they're probably gonna try to go another welterweight, man. I don't think.
You don't think they're gonna do the Eubank way? You don't think they're gonna do the Eubank way?
So this the thing, right? So I kind of put a whole bunch of stuff together in my head.
Okay.
Remember, Andre put that video out about Chris Eubank.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So then when the purse bid stuff happened, he has Salita representing him. Now Salita has a great relationship with Boxer. So he must have been in touch with Boxer and was under the impression that there was a Eubank fight on the table, which in essence is why he made the video like, hey, don't fight Conor Benn when you know there's money on the table for you and I to fight.
Okay.
Right? So all of us were thinking that the Conor Benn fight was done for Eubank, but it wasn't. I just seen a live with fucking Conor Benn talking about I'll fight Keith Thurman, talking about he'll fight Boots, like, you know what I mean? And then I see an interview with Eddie, like, yeah, that fight's not done yet, but for sure, Conor Benn is gonna fight in October. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking like, damn, like how close are they to the Eubank fight? Because remember, allegedly the fight was agreed to at 156 pounds on this date and blah, blah, blah. Now all of a sudden, Conor Benn is kind of like backtracking. Then we see the video from Andre. But remember, we didn't have this context when we saw the Andre video.
Yeah.
We just saw him like looking weird. I'm like, why are you calling out a fighter that has a fight done? But clearly the fight ain't done.
It's not done yet. That's a good point.
So now I'm looking like, okay.
In that scenario, does Janibek take step aside money and then says, I fight the winner of the Andre Eubank?
Because if it depends on how they do it, because Janibek now is the interim champion. So if he vacates, well then he's gonna move up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if you're Andre and you're Eubank vacating, and I don't give a damn about the belts, but I'm just thinking of how business is done in boxing. Mm-hmm. Vacating the belt before you're gonna have the Andre Eubank fight, does that take a little less value off of it? Does that fight need a belt just to sell kind of Andre to Eubank going to England and having that fight?
I think Andre is going to sign the contract and ask questions later. I think he would try to sign the Eubank fight and then be like, hey, I got another fight over here. Can y'all just make Janibek wait? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's something. You could take Janibek could take some step aside, fight in the undercard, because Either way, Boxer works with ESPN, works with Top Rank. They could set that up easily. The winner of that fight, Janabek. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We'll fight Janabek, and then you'll be good like that. So maybe that's possible. I don't mind any of those matchups. I just, I think everybody's critical of Andre because he signed with Salita, and everybody's kind of expecting him to go a major promotion route, and everybody's kind of hoping maybe PBC would go PBC, but I don't think that they were really honestly. I know they said that they offered him something, but we don't know what the offer was. It could have been a real low ball offer. We have no idea. Yeah. But I think that they wanted to see him fight Janabek first and see if he keeps the belt, and then that's way more enticing to them if they keep the belt. Like, go fight Charlo.
But you know what? With the middleweight landscape right now, I'm gonna agree with you, Ezra. A Janabek fight ain't that bad to me.
No, it's not.
Like who else? Because it's my thing. If you don't want to fight Janabek, then you should be moving up because you're not going to fight Charlo. That's not going to happen. No. And then you're not going to fight Golovkin because you could have been for Golovkin. He clearly doesn't
have it. Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Now, if Golovkin wins, he has 5 days to decide that. No, I think if he wins, he has 4 months to decide some shit like basically he got to fight Lara. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. He got to fight Evansville Lara next, regardless if you decide if he's gonna stay
or drop,
continue to be the WBA champion. So that shit, is what you gonna do, man.
Yeah, he almost in a weird way got cornered into a Janabek fight. Strangely enough, I don't know how Bob Arum works his magic, but he cornered him somehow into a Janabek fight.
Yeah, man. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Andre, one of them guys, man. It's like some guys you look at their careers and you scratch your head. 2 guys for me is Andre and Regis Prograis. I look at their careers and I'll be like, why are y'all making these decisions? Now I know Regis got like stuff outside of boxing that he get into and he getting extra bags from, but you look at somebody like him, it's just like, damn, bro. Regis could be like one of those guys. Like his skills are like they're there, but the way his business is set up is fucking horrible.
It's because the amount of money the Triller's paying or places like that are paying for him to fight. Honestly, mid-level competition, it's hard to pass up. Even though they're not thinking long-term, they're just saying boxing's not, to them in their mind, boxing's not long-term. It's like, I gotta get paid now, right? Yeah. And just the way Andre explained it, kind of like on Chicken Talk, it's like, hey, no one was paying me to fight Luke Keeler. No one was paying me that much to fight Luke Keeler, right? Yeah. So maybe it's not if I went the long-term route with PBC and I fought all these tough guys, though, to get to those big paydays, yeah. But right now, I can just fight a bunch of guys at this level, guaranteed that I feel like it's a guarantee I'm going to win. And I'm going to get all these decent paydays. Like I can't pass that up. So I understand it. It's not like to me like, oh, it's ridiculous. But I think Prograis, like I said, maybe more could have been expected in his career and Andrade's career, but they just chose guaranteed paydays for lesser competition.
No, that's true. But like I said, at some point you got to get you got to think long term at some point.
Yeah, man. Yeah. They don't.
It's like, come on, Regis. Even the PBC thing, like he went in there. His first fight with PBC, which was on a Tank undercard, he was overweight. You know what I mean? Then after the fight, he like, well, somebody promised me Barrios, and now he's fighting Tank and blah, 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 blah. And then come to find out, nobody promised you Barrios. You just thought you were going to get a Barrios fight. So you burnt that bridge with PBC. Like, you're not rocking with the zone. I mean, like, I don't know. I know Top Rank tried to sign him previously.
He was with them for a while. He was fighting, like, I don't know if he was signed with them, but he was fighting on their network.
Yeah, I remember that. But now I'm thinking, does the Charles Zepeda fight even get made?
Oh, so the Zepeda one? It feels like his ball's in his court on that one. So I mean, it would just be him not liking the money, which we'll see because it probably does go to purse bid, right? So you're gonna have to see what the money is, and it's gonna see. But if he looks long term on that one, I mean, it's a pretty damn good move, right? Because you have to feel that Zepeda isn't exactly a world beater in my mind. Yeah. Right, it's a very good fight, but it's not a world beater. It's a guy that you could be convince me that he beats.
Yeah,
and then he can go fight a Ramirez, Josh Taylor at that point, Teal. Like you see the options there, especially that it's a smart weight right now to get a belt.
Well, see, the thing is that Jose Ramirez was supposed to fight Charles Zepeda, but I think Jose Ramirez, he got pregnant. I think he having a baby, so that's why he dropped out of the fight because so at first, the fight between Charles Zepeda and Jose Ramirez, or the rematch, right? Yeah. For the belt, it wasn't supposed to be until next year because of Jose Ramirez had all this stuff going on. So he's like, you know what? I'll fall back. You can elevate Regis, and so the winner of Regis and Zepeda, they got to fight Ramirez.
And that's a good fight, and that's a big fight,
Yeah.
because Ramirez does pretty well. So
Well,
that's what I'm saying. They could build that up.
I just hope that Regis get his stuff together and get his business together and maybe look to sign a deal with Top Rank. At 140, you got Devin Haney moving up. Like, you got a lot of people there. You got Teofimo Lopez. And you remember, there was some back and forth with Tio Lopez and Regis too. Like, hey, let's fight. We're going to fight one day. I don't know if you ever seen that. They had a little bit of yapping back and forth in each other's face, though. They was talking about, fighting and sending contracts and stuff like that. Wasn't nothing crazy, but they had words before too. So it's a lot of fights. I think that it's a lot of fights that I think that could be made for Regis, man. He just got to be able to, like we said about Devin Haney, you just got to play ball. Like,
yeah, and it's funny because he has a very marketable style too. Like, you know, when you watch his fight, and you're like, oh, that's boring. He doesn't have boring fights. He has like very entertaining fights. It's a very entertaining style.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know why he I guess everybody got their own personal goals, but if Regis should have been at 147. He should have been at 147 already. I think after the Josh Taylor fight, if he didn't go directly back into that rematch, I just don't see the wasting time. Like, you fought 2 fights, you didn't make weight, you fight Tyrone McKenna, and you finally do make weight, and now you fighting at Charles Zepeda. But at 140, like we've been here, done this already, and Regis is already 30 now. So
yeah, I remember when him and Hooker were debating, we were going to fight each other, but the whole argument was like the weight class, and I believe the Hooker won 147. Yeah, and Progress wanted a catch weight, I believe, between like 140 and 144
or something like that.
Yeah, Hooker's like, I can't make it.
They was gonna fight out. I live like 20 minutes from the MGM here in Maryland at Oxon Hill, and that's where that fight was located. But remember, that fight got stopped because COVID. Remember that they were supposed to fight in like February or March, and then COVID.
And then it delayed it. It had delayed.
Yeah, that's right. COVID happened, and then they just kind of scrapped the fight because they were gonna fight. Like, COVID and shit. So, yeah. So he's saying, James, I would love to see him with PBC. He was with PBC. He signed the deal. Then he started running off his mouth talking about somebody promised him this and it wasn't true. And then now you're not with PBC. So
the thing is, on the website they still have him, so they might be have a managerial fee on him. Like, but they just not. You don't have a promotion deal with him.
I don't think so because his manager is Richard Schaefer. Richard Schaefer is his manager. Yeah, and he's signed to Probellum. He's a Probellum fighter.
Because he's still on their website. If you look at their website, but maybe
it's you know how they do though. They probably you know what I mean. But his manager is Richard Schaefer. That is his manager. Okay. Yeah, and he signed to Probellum. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know, man, Richard. So let me see what else we got. I saw that Beck the Bully fight. What you think about that one?
Hey, Beck the Bully's interesting, man. I think he has that one thing where he got knocked out cold. In that fight, he was dominating though until he got knocked out cold. Yeah, and you got to remember, he was supposed to fight Kovalev. Like that fight was signed and was supposed to happen. Now I don't remember what the delay was on that. Something Kovalev did, I think, but they had to pull out that fight. I think if Zurdo and Bivol does not happen, and it's supposed to happen, but if it doesn't happen, Zurdo Beck is not a bad fight. I mean, I'll be honest with you. For what Golden Boy has, Zurdo Beck is very interesting. Last time you see what Zurdo was in, last time he was in with a human punching bag. Yeah. I mean, Beck's not better than that. Beck's not more interesting than that. You've been building Beck. Yeah. Why not put him in with Zurdo?
I just don't like my man. Like I said, man, I'm old school Ezra, man. Like Beck, he wasn't even trying to jab, man. He just like going straight to the body. But I mean, this dude was just. You can't even tell how good Beck is because the dude, his opponent, was just so bad. I'm
not gonna lie though, Golden Boy's getting smarter with their matchpicking because I always say this too. It's like I don't think all undercards should be this, but like if you have a Canelo undercard and you have guys you want on the undercard, you want them to have some viewership, right? You want to grab some attention. You just put them in with a tomato can. Honestly, let them get the highlight reel knockout. We still see that Sinisi Estrada knockout where she knocked out that soccer mom.
Yeah.
That was just on like Twitter like last week. Okay, that's still on there. No one's asking any questions about whether that soccer mom is okay or no one's asking any of that stuff. Yeah. They just want to see the knockout. So Golden Boy is just like, okay, put them in with a can. And just get the highlight reel stoppage, and they're getting it. I give them credit for that. But yeah, I would love to see him fight Zurdo. I think that's an interesting fight. I want to see Zurdo Bivol first, but I just think if you have no other options, Beck and Zurdo's a damn good fight.
Yeah, but and that's another thing I don't understand because like again, Matchroom and Matchroom and Golden Boy work so well together, but then it's like, why is Eddie Hearn trying to push Bivol and Zurdo fight off for a Bivol and Buatsi fight?
Because he only has one more fight after Golovkin with Canelo. And the only matchup that makes sense and could sell is a Bivol rematch. And if Bivol loses, he'd rather lose to his guy because then that fight makes sense for Canelo. But if he loses Zerto loses, Zerto beats Bivol, that ruins everything that he has. It might even lose some control of Canelo if Canelo does want to fight Zerto. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. He's just trying to keep everything. He has all the chips. Might as well bet with himself, within himself.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. No, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. See, we got a couple people in here, man. I just asked a couple people, hey, if y'all like what y'all watching, man, go ahead and hit a like and subscribe. Hey, my man Ezra on here. Go on Ezra page too, man. Ezra, if you want to drop your page in the comments or however you got to do that, so we could go on your page too.
Yeah, just search right here, Ezra Podcast. It's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. I'm on everything. If you're looking for, listen wherever you listen to podcasts, I'm most likely on it. Ezra Podcast. Talk boxing and I talk MMA sometimes. Mostly boxing.
I got a question for you. Did you watch the DAZN card from earlier?
Yeah, Dalton Smith.
Hey man, hey, you know what? Come on, man. I like Dalton Smith, bro. I like Dalton Smith.
Yeah, he's good. He's real good. He's probably I was saying, like, I was pretty high on him for a while now. I thought he was for sure the best prospect out of Europe, in my opinion, for a while. I thought he was the best prospect out of Europe. He's the only one that could go really, I think, at a world level. I really like, for right now, from the guys I'm seeing, I think he has a really good chance of being a world level guy. Similar to maybe like I don't know, Josh Taylor situation. But the one thing is that I think he has a little bit too much respect for his opponents. He plays it too safe, in my opinion. He really needs to force. He's like kind of like the opposite of what we were talking about with Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz has no respect for his opponent. He forces his will on them. Dalton has a lot of respect for his opponent. He doesn't force his will on everyone.
Nah, facts. Bro, the trolls is out tonight, ain't they?
They're out, man. I don't know what the hell. So I'm telling you, I don't know what the hell to do with it. That's what I'm telling you. They got me last time. I was pissed. I was like, oh, I let this guy get on video. Like, how did I do that?
Yeah, but I don't be really. You know what's crazy, man? I think one thing about now we all, like, just pause the box and talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Stuff like that don't bother me, bro.
No, it's I get you.
Like, and I hate to talk like this, but I'm in my basement right now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm in the basement of my 4,000 square foot home.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you control, but
yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck about that shit.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Like, if you have time to do that, like, your life is sad. If you're like, I'm gonna get on YouTube today and troll some people, it's like, I've never heard anyone say that, and you feel like, oh, that's a successful person. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know what the hell. I don't know what's up with people. Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with them. I really don't. I don't know what's wrong with people. I think people are getting dumber as we move on, and it's like the internet like this really exposed people how dumb they really are. Yeah. And if you have time to do this, like, I'm telling you, it's just I don't know. You have to rethink everything. People say, like, you want to feel bad for them. I don't really feel bad for them. I just think they're dumb. I just think that they have a lot of time in their hands and they're not doing things, productive in their life. And if you have time to do this at whatever time, if it's at your time or my time, it's 10:05 where I'm at. Anytime you're doing it at, it's unproductive. It's a weird time to be doing it.
And then the dude just making different pages and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's all good.
It's all good.
Let me see. I'm just gonna block them. Everyone, I'm just gonna keep blocking them joints. I need to have somebody else. Let me see. Let's put this up there.
Clarissa or Savannah? I'm not really familiar with Savannah. I keep hearing things that, like, she might have a chance against Clarissa. Maybe that's because I think people think Clarissa maybe is not focused 100% on boxing, because she is. She's doing MMA and everything like that. But I haven't seen Savannah enough to be like, that's going to be a good fight. No one's been close to Clarissa. No one's really giving her a test.
Yeah, that's my cousin right there.
I was like, it's another troll.
Nah.
Hey, what's going on, yo?
What's going on?
What's up?
Yeah, I came to my monitors. I was finna start this Sandman show because I've been hearing a lot of good things about it, but I saw that you was on, so decided to stop by, obviously, with this Vergil Ortiz victory that just happened. Pretty good performance for Vergil. And got a surprise in the co-main event, but it wasn't too much of a surprise because, we talked about it yesterday. We both picked Blair.
Yeah.
And how it happened, that's the talking point right there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Facts. That's. I don't know, man. Like I said, man, Maurice Hooker, he never was really nothing to talk about at 147. So I think people just was going off his prior fights and just kind of assuming that he would be the same thing that he was before. They was going at seeing Alexis. They was seeing Blair Cobbs get knocked out by Alexis Rocha, who had only lost to Rashidi Ellis. He's a good fighter. Like, you know what I mean? One thing I'll say, like I said it in his space earlier, Blair Cobbs, just like Frank Martin, they still very much prospects, even though they're older. These guys think while they're in the ring. You could, like, even when Blair Cobbs, like when he got hurt a couple times tonight and he kind of like circling around the ring, you could literally see the wheel spinning in his head, like, okay, I think I'm gonna stop it, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I'm gonna get on my bike. Oh, you know, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I'm gonna go for the overhand right again. Like guys like that, their worst enemy is a guy that can cut the ring off because it does not give them time to think. You know what I'm saying?
And we did not see Maurice Hooker at any point of this fight tonight show the capability of cutting the ring off. I forgot what round it was. It might have been round 6 or 7. And I would just tell you, it was one of the saddest displays I've seen of a fighter just following a guy that's going left, right, just going left, right, moving, not really punching. Like Blair took the round off and he somehow won only because Hooker, he had no idea how to cut the fucking ring off. It was embarrassing. I was sitting there just shaking my head. It was terrible.
Yeah, he really couldn't do anything when Blair really started using his legs. Like, he was just kind of, he was lost. His head and his body was not reacting, and they weren't reacting together. And that's why, like, they were just even the point where Crawford kind of just like, hey man, you just got to start working when you're in range. Like, you got to work. You got to, but it's just, sometimes your mind doesn't connect with your fist. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't see the openings. I'm not seeing them how I usually see them, at least.
I'm seeing people talking about Bomac and going in on him. I want to come to Bomac defense here. I would like to get your opinion on that if y'all haven't touched base on that yet. But in Bomac's defense, Maurice Hooker came into this fight out of shape. He missed weight. Didn't look like he gave a damn about it. Look, I'm hearing the guys on the zone talking about he's coming into the fight. They're asking him how much he's weighing after rehydrating. He's just saying big. And, there's some of them thinking that he's coming into the fight closer to being a super middleweight. And he's not a fighter with a lot of punch power, so I don't know how that would serve him going up against Blair Cobbs. And if anything, it's just taken away from what you do good. When he was at 140 pounds, he had a lot of speed, I thought, fight behind the jab. Yeah. His speed was zapped tonight. He had no speed at all. So I don't know how you could look at Bomac and blame him for what transpired in there. What I think is Hooker, he need a career reset. He's not old. So at no point should he really be questioning whether or not he should continue to box or not. But I think he need a career reset, and he needs to rededicate himself to the sport. And I think he's capable of doing it, but he may never become a champion level fighter at 147.
But Lil, let me say this to you. This is why I'm gonna push back on you. You can't say you relieving Bomac of any wrongdoing. The team Crawford all trained together. Bomac knew he was gonna miss weight. This wasn't a secret. It's not like a Charlo thing where Charlo from Houston, Derek James Dallas, and Charlo kind of does his thing in Houston and then go meet Derek James at the end. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like, he is wherever they at. If they in Colorado or if they in Omaha, he's with him. And that's what we was talking about before. Steve Nelson just missed weight by like 7 pounds a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. Now Maurice Hooker comes in a fight supposed to be at 147 at 150. Like, you gotta, I'm not saying Bomac is to blame because the fighter know that he gotta make weight. But at the end of the day, Bomac is around, like he's there. This is not like it's not like these guys don't train together. You know what I mean? So, granted,
the one thing.
Wait,
the one thing is like now I've trained a wild card before, and I've seen Freddie Roach train fighters before, and I think that a lot of times we think the fighter, we think the manager and the trainer, I think we think they have more control of the fighter than they do. Yeah. A lot of the time, you can't control what the fighter does. A lot of times you have other fighters and stuff like that. When he comes in, you gotta hope that he's doing the extra stuff to stay in shape. You gotta hope that he's right mentally. You gotta hope that he's living right. The trainer can't really control that. Right. And I know that, like I said, there's a few situations like that now in Bomac's camp where you're seeing that. Right. But a lot of times the honest truth is, too, a lot of these guys are getting opportunities because Bomac has his relationship with Crawford. Right. And he says, oh, he's going to be a Crawford, so I'm going to get my guys on the card. So then these guys get ESPN airtime and they build them up. Right. But maybe they wouldn't have been there if they wouldn't have got the opportunity because of Bomac and Crawford. Right. They wouldn't have the discipline to get there. And when they got that and they got a few paydays, they weren't in the mental mind frame that Crawford is, right? Crawford could get paid. You could pay him $40 million tomorrow. He's still going to show up for his next fight in shape, ready to go.
Facts.
As a trainer, it's a lot of things on the fighter. It's what he does on the outside. I've seen guys like one of the fighters I think Earl Spence just brought up was Frankie Gomez. Frankie Gomez used to train a wild card. Frankie Gomez was Golden Boy, put a lot behind Frankie Gomez. They thought he was going to be the next big thing for them. Frankie Gomez would have a fight, come back extremely out of shape. I'm talking about pushing 200 pounds. He's a 147-pound fighter. He's pushing. So you couldn't be like, oh, we're going to get better. No, we're going to be like, oh, we're going to try to get in shape for this fight. That's it. Yeah. So he was not going to grow. He was not going to get better. He would take beatings in the sparring because he wasn't in shape. He was trying to work his way back, and he wasn't getting sharper at his skills.
One thing I'll say is that we can't look at Vergil Ortiz just to relieve or give Mo Hooker a little bit of time here. We can't look at Vergil Ortiz, who came off a year layoff against Mean Machine, saying, "Oh, it was some ring rust there," and he showed some ring rust, and then look at the guy who when he fought Vergil Ortiz before a year ago, and not like bring the ring rust part into the conversation as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like. He had when did he fight Vergil Ortiz? That was like April, May last year?
Yeah.
Something like that. So that was a long time ago since he had last fought as well. You know what I mean? So,
The difference is, though, cuz is this. Maurice Hooker, 33 years old. Vergil Ortiz is 24 years old. Getting that weight off after being inactive for so long is different for an older fighter, obviously. This is just life and period.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm 20 years old and I weigh a certain weight and I'm trying to get the weight off, it's gonna be easier than if I'm 31 years old. That's just life and fitness. But I'm just not. I respect your opinion when it comes to the Bomac discourse, but I don't think you could say, it's Bomac knew that this was gonna happen. But ultimately, it's up to Hooker. You got to choose one side. Which side are you going to choose? In a lot of cases, two things could be right. But I feel like in this situation, I'm leaning that blame in Maurice Hooker's way. I just am.
I mean, and he was super emotional during remember they got mad at him for missing weight, then he got mad and he was like super emotional. Maybe he was about to cry talking about the lady. So I mean, above whatever weight issues he had,
he's got some mental.
He was going through something. I just think he wasn't mentally there. Like, you know what I mean? Once I seen him once I seen him getting emotional and all of that, like I said. But for me, him quitting against Vergil, that's all I really needed to see. After I seen him quit against Vergil, I really wrote him off personally.
Yeah, I think right now you get him and you just say, hey, we're gonna take a break from boxing right now. We ain't gonna do no sparring, no nothing. You can stay in shape, go run, all those things. That's on you. But right now, let's take a break from boxing. Let's get yourself mentally right. Let's feel maybe if you feel that itch again to come back, we could do it. Because that's what I'm saying for Bomac. If he wants to go somewhere else, he goes somewhere else. But I'm gonna say right now, let's just get a little break. Let's rethink this whole thing. In a year, we'll come back not for a fight. We'll rethink the whole plan we have. We're gonna come up with a strategy going forward from this point on. You can't afford really any more losses, and really, we don't have really any big fights. Really, no one's really hungry to sign us right now. So we're gonna have to come up another way where it gets tough prospects or like kind of like a as a what is it called, like a gatekeeper type of thing. But but we could get some opportunities. But let's just take a break and let's just regroup because right now mentally you're not there, confidence isn't there, and you obviously don't want to put the work in that's necessary to do it. So that's me. Full Mag, that's what I'm telling them.
They definitely need to figure out that fitness bit because there's no way that a guy who was fighting at 140 pounds a few years ago should be rehydrating up to almost 170 pounds for a 147-pound bout. That shouldn't be happening. He needs to be in better fitness for his fights. I think that's the first thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys think that when they get to a certain point or a certain level, they're going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to get to this point, and then I'll fight, and then I'll go and I'll party and all those things." But it's a full-time gig. Even when you're not in camp or anything like that, it's full-time. You got to be at least close to weight.
He's not that type of fighter that could make up for being lazy or not dedicating himself to the sport. Motherfucker, you ain't Mike Tyson, and even Mike Tyson, when he started doing that, you start seeing some results in the ring that wasn't up to the standard of what he had when he was fighting under Customado.
Yeah, exactly.
You start seeing him. I'll never forget it. I was a big fan of the series that they used to have for HBO, and it was a series where they, break down the most legendary fights from HBO.
Yeah, Legendary Nights.
Yeah, Legendary Nights. That's it. And I remember his then trainer at the time, he recalled that Mike Tyson got knocked down. And when he got up, he told him, get back in there and keep going. And Mike was like, I'm not doing this no more. Yeah. That's the mentality of a guy. He's somewhere else. He not in there. He not in that ring. And I think Maurice Hooker, he's going through that right now. But he's not good enough to not dedicate himself fully to this sport.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. He don't have the skill to make up for that gap. He needs to be consistent. Yeah, he needs to be consistent with it.
What we expecting from Teofimo Lopez next week?
I'm the one preaching. I'm buying his stock, and I think that guy's a mental case. 100%. I agree with you. If he's dedicated, if he's in shape, he's a very sharp fighter. He could just fall off the ledge right now. Honestly, it could be just like a massive decline for him. I'm gonna buy that stock. I'm gonna say at 140, he's gonna have some success. I think he's gonna have some success next week. But like I said, really with that guy, if you told me, oh no, he's gonna lose his next 5 fights, I could believe it. He's in that position. I could think he could win his next 5 and be world champion. I could also see him losing his next 5 and being out of boxing.
Yeah, his mindset with Teofimo Lopez, I think he got all the tools that he need. And I'm not even pulling nothing away from the Kambosos fight. Just like, and to be fair, it's because I didn't pull nothing away from Kambosos on the Tio fight. You know what I'm saying? I knew that wasn't the real Tio. So with that not being the quote unquote real Tio, I knew he wasn't seeing the real Kambosos. You know what I'm saying? And come to find out the next fight, we found out who Kambosos was, a guy that can't get past a healthy jab. You know what I'm saying? Teofimo Lopez at heart is a counterpuncher. I think this guy that he fighting Compa, I think that he just kind of come for a guy. I think he got like 33 and like 1 or 2 or something like that. So it's a good person to welcome to 140. But I struggle just thinking that he automatically beats like a Barboza. You know what I mean? Barboza, who got a lot of discipline behind him. Obviously, last week not last week, a couple weeks ago, he had some trouble with that guy Zarilla. But Zarilla was no pushover, and I think just people didn't know who Zarilla was, so that Barboza was just gonna like clean him up. Barboza is not like a knockout puncher, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you put a good boxer in there with another good boxer, you're gonna get a good boxing match. You know what I'm saying? But Barboza still clearly won that fight to me. You know what I'm saying? I just have trouble feeling like, because you are what you do and what you think on a daily basis. So again, if T.O. mental not right, I wonder what is he doing and what is he thinking on a day-to-day basis, because he's still in the ring post-fight Kambosos. Like, he still talks like that. Like, oh, I really won that fight. They cheated me, blah, blah, blah. Like, so if you ain't even come to terms yet with the mistakes that you made for how you lost, how am I gonna just say like, yeah, you're gonna be a force in the deepest division in boxing?
Yeah.
That's the only, and and trust me, I want to buy the Tio stock because he can't do it. But it's just rough for me because, like I said, you are what you do and what you think on a daily basis, and that's why it's so rough for me to just think that Tio. I'm gonna see Tio with a strap at 140. Yeah, man, I don't know.
Like I said,
yeah.
Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, what I was just thinking, I don't know too much about his opponent, Campa. From the sounds of it, like he is a come forward fighter, and that is the type of fighter that's tailor made for somebody with the arsenal that Teofimo got. I expect him to get a knockout. Don't know when. That's really up to his opponent and how much damage he could take. Teofimo, he's never been a volume puncher, so it's not like he's gonna just come out like he did against Kambosos. He was trying to prove a point against Kambosos. I mean, he said before the fight he wanted to get the first round knockout, but he's not a volume puncher. So if he could, it's for however much damage that Campa could take, that fight gonna last. As far as the things outside the ring with Teofimo, I don't want to speculate or talk too much about it, but it's not something that I want to hear, and I'm sure a lot of people who are supporters of him don't want to hear that either. But look forward to it. I'm a fan of Teofimo, and I'm pretty sure he's going to bounce back against a guy that they're putting him in there for a reason against this particular fighter.
If there was ever a moment that he cannot look shaky, it's this fight. He cannot look shaky this fight. He has a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of big fights for him, and Top Rank will push him ahead of the line on everyone to get the big fights that they want. And they will even possibly a Devin Haney fight. He cannot look shaky.
And that's what I've been thinking about, because my thing is, I'm looking at the landscape. I think Teofimo, he was pretty high in the WBC, but obviously we got the Ramirez and we got the Charles Zepeda and Hook and
Progress.
Regis Prograis. Then that winner is fighting Jose Ramirez. So the WBC title in that situation is locked up.
Yeah.
Right. We got the WBA situation over here where we got Puello about to fight Akhmadov, right? They got that fucking 4-part, right? So they're about to fight for the strap on Adrian Broner undercard. Something in my heart, in my mind, is telling me that if one of them I think both of them guys are PBC guys. I just, for some weird ass reason, I feel like Adrian Broner gonna get a crack at one of them dudes. I don't know why. I guess just in my head, just for some reason, if he can make 140, I think AB can crack at one of those guys. But now you got the IBF, and you got you got Subriel Matias and Jeremiah Ponce that's supposed to be fighting an eliminator for the IBF strap. So if Josh Taylor is fighting Catterall for the WBO and the IBF, after that fight, they should be calling for the IBF mandatory. I don't think he's going to fight either one of those guys. Oh, I know he ain't going to fight Subriel Matias because that's a PBC fight, right? So I think we could get possibly Devin Haney moving directly up after this next Kambosos fight. Maybe I think Devin Haney take the ride and go to in England or Scotland and fight Josh Taylor for that belt. You know what I'm saying? But the question is, where is Teofimo going to fit in for one of these straps?
So one of the points was made was that Jose Ramirez, if he doesn't fight, right, he's going to pull out of that fight. He's ranked really high on another belt. I don't remember what belt it is, but he's ranked really high there.
Jose Ramirez?
Yeah, Jose Ramirez.
But see, the thing is, I'm going to let you go. The thing is, though, so basically he stepped out that fight so Regis could step in with the guarantee that he has next. So it don't even make sense fighting again, because why would I fight in another sanctioning body when regardless I'm going to fight for the title next, because that's the position that Regis was in.
But he might have inside information that Taylor's going to drop that belt. So they say, let's get you in position 1 and 2, and we can get you in position to take that belt. So then we can unify the belts, right? This isn't my theory. This is I can't think of his name on boxing Twitter, but this isn't my theory. This is just a theory that someone else told me. That would create an opening, right? If Zepeda beats Progress, that Teo could move up to the can be the next, not mandatory, but just the next fight against Zepeda for the WBC bout at 140. Right, so there's a few moves that Top Rank's trying to make right now to position him. But like I said, if the one point that Tio cannot look shaky in this fight, he cannot look shaky at all. He better look damn sharp. He better not be competitive, because no one is really familiar with his opponent, and no one's expecting anything from his opponent. Right, no one is sounding says a tough fight. They're sounding that says Tio's going to look good at 140. He's going to look like Tio again.
What's the definition though of him looking shaky?
I would even say like even a tough fight. I say like even a competitive fight, even a fight where even I would say, okay, it goes 12, but he's just winning it, but it's like not by a wide margin, or it's not the highlight reel we're used to seeing. I think he needs to look sharp. I think he needs to look like he's putting it on this guy. If this guy's able to survive, he's surviving a beating. Like, you know what I mean? It's that type of thing. I think he needs to look like that, and I think that's what they're counting on.
He need to be impressive, like I mean, emphatic stoppage, a one-way beatdown, corner stoppage, referee stoppage on cuts. Like, he need to look like the old Teofimo, like Tio Come, Tio everybody. You know what I mean? He need to look like that.
This interests me though, because we just watched George Kambosos be able to take his punch for 12 rounds, and we all just expect that he's just gonna run through this guy. I think he's gonna beat the hell out of this dude. But there's a question though if his power is gonna come up to 140. I think most of us are expecting that, but don't be surprised if it do go to a decision.
But no, listen, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good
point. The Kambosos fight, well, personally, me, I don't take nothing from the Kambosos fight, because he did not go in there with a game plan. Teofimo Lopez is a counter puncher. You could watch the Kambosos fight on 2 or 3 times speed, and you will see Kambosos just inching back the whole fight. That's all he had to do was inch back the whole fight. By the end of round 1, he had Teofimo Lopez timed up for the whole rest of the fight.
Yeah.
Tio didn't do anything different. He didn't make not one adjustment. It was come out, power shot, hook. Like, he didn't establish a jab. He didn't do nothing. He's a counter puncher. That's what Teofimo Lopez is great at. He's a fast, quick counter puncher. You make a mistake, I'll make you pay, and I'll fuck around and knock you out. That's what he is. I can't take, like I said, if I didn't take nothing from Kambosos going forward from that fight, I'm going to do the same thing with Teofimo Lopez. I'm going to give him a pass, because that's not the Teofimo Lopez that we're accustomed to seeing. That's not the Teofimo Lopez that we were expecting in that fight. I'm going to give him a pass. I'm going to say, you know what? He a counterpuncher. Let him get back to his old ways, set up his knockouts, because that's what he was doing before. He wasn't just running through steamrolling motherfuckers. That's not Teofimo Lopez's game. He's not a Gary Antoine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's not what he does. So let's let him get back to his ways. And if he get back to his counterpunching ways and setting up those knockouts, and it's not working, well, then maybe I might say his power ain't translate, because he still dropped Kambosos. You know what I mean? But again, smothering his work, like, it was a lot of BS. And I'm not gonna give him the medical, heart, whatever he had going on, but he didn't look himself. And so, I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, and Joe is back. Oh, he is back in his corner? Oh, that's really huge news. I didn't know that. That's really huge, because that's when he looked his absolute best. So that he's back in his corner, then we might see something very good from him.
Yeah, because we just got to stop the games, all of the punching, the cut open bags and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? That's mental to me, man. It's stuff like that. I'm just like, I don't know, man. And I just see him in a Bud Light commercial too.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the weird thing. He's a marketable guy. You know what I mean? Like,
he had them on his shorts for his last fight with Kambosos.
No, yeah, that was it. So that, remember, he was talking about he was completely flat broke until he got the Bud Light sponsor. That's what he was talking about. But I don't know, man. I just want Tio to whatever he got mentally. I just hope that in 5 years we're not talking about what a great fighter he could have been if he would have got past what he got going on. Said stop hating. I'm not hating on Tio, man. Quit caping for him. Listen, I'm not hating on Tio, nor am I caping for him, man. I think Tio is a good fighter, but like I say, I like to break down the sport of boxing. I know what I like from Teofimo Lopez, and that's not what we've seen in the Kambosos fight. That's not the normal Tio. So I would like to give him a pass, because I know what he's capable of and what he's shown. but we still got to see it.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where you eliminate their worst performance, eliminate their best performance, and that's more what the guy is. And that's why I always like Kambosos. I was never high on him. Like after that fight, people were telling me like to be high on him, and I was like, nah, I don't think so. I don't. He had one good night, but I don't really see it from him consistently.
And I discovered Kambosos during the pandemic, because in the pandemic I was watching everything in boxing. You know what I mean? And it's like against Lee Selby, he didn't look good. He didn't.
No, he didn't. I thought he lost that fight, honestly.
I thought he lost versus Lee Selby. He was like screaming and crying when he won because he thought he lost too, probably. You know what I mean?
Especially Selby being a smaller guy, really coming up.
So
and he struggled with Mickey Bay, and Mickey Bay was older at that point.
That was a draw.
Yeah,
that was and Mickey Bay was coming off of what, 2-year layoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We gonna see. Went too high, too fast. It ain't even about the too high, too fast. It's just you get to believe in people that's around you. Your dad removing your trainers and stuff like that. He telling you that, man, he partying in a crowd while you in a corner waiting on it. He telling you to be patient, but then he telling you to knock this guy out already. Like, you know what I mean?
I believe if
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I believe, when you get that first loss, like it's different in today's era when you get that first loss, and especially you highly touted, and people expect a certain performance out of you. People expect you to perform to a certain standard. I remember when Victor Ortiz, he lost to Marcos Madonna, and just about the reaction after that, everybody telling you that his career was over, but that guy ended up working himself into getting back to a title shot. He beat Andre Berto in a great fight, and he got the cash out fight with Floyd Mayweather. I mean, that's not the type of career to brag about, but let's just think about this, that guy, he had a lot in front of him, a lot of talent. People were expecting a lot out of him at an early age, and he lost and had his heart questioned after that fight. But he was able to bounce back. And Teofimo Lopez, his heart is not in question, but I think people are questioning his mentality going into this fight, of course. And he's got a chance to silence the critics. And it's not like it is kind of make or break, because if you fucking lose, then it's all downhill.
It's an uphill battle.
He's not fighting a fighter that he needs to be sweating over, is what I'm saying. Yeah. But it's not over, is what I'm saying. When it comes to a guy losing their first fight, he's gonna have a great opportunity to bounce back, to become a world champion at this weight class. And to be honest, the world beaters, they're over at Showtime. I mean, I don't want to see him against Sabril Matisse. I don't even want to see him with Gary Antoine Russell. I think those are pretty rough fights, but Russell, he looked highly vulnerable in his last fight. He's still extremely dangerous and poses a tough challenge for Teofimo. But let's give this guy a chance to prove that he can actually bounce back before we throw the dirt on him.
No, I ain't throwing the dirt on him. And you talk about the world beaters being at PBC, but over there on Top Rank, they got a couple good 140 pounders too. I would like to see him in there with a Jose Ramirez, even though to me, I'm not that high on Jose Ramirez, but I would like to see him in there with that fight. I would like to see if Charles Zepeda got something left and see him in there with that. If Regis could get a belt and be over on Top Rank, I would love to see T.O. versus Regis.
Yeah, the thing is with this fight is it's the chance. The thing with this team is they're crazy, right? His dad's crazy. He's crazy because what they wanted was Barbosa, Zepeda. They wanted a top guy right away because they're impatient. They're not a patient team. They're like, I want all this back. They want everything back now. Now, this fight right here, I think it's more Top Rank picking his opponent and Top Rank saying, no, we'll give you this guy. But it's a chance to cut in line again to be at the top. Now, like I said, if he struggles in this fight, I think he's going to have to be brought up slower and maybe even tougher in that case, because he's going to have to fight a bunch of tough guys at 140. Now, if he loses, I believe you'll get another opportunity just because there's so many networks and there's so many cards. You're always going to get another chance. I mean, look, we're still watching Maurice Hooker fight. I mean, and we're still watching Blair the Flair fight after the loss. So you're going to get more opportunities, but it's an uphill battle, like you said. If he goes to PBC, and what are you going to do? Run up their 140 ladder, right? If you go to, you go to the zone and just be stuck in an island where there's no 140 guys for you, right? And you have to go to 147 and get, fight Conor Benn. If you lose this, it's going to be real hot. It's going to be a real uphill battle after that. If you even struggle, get a draw or something like that, real uphill battle.
Like, even think about Isaac Dogbay and how we was ready to just throw dirt on that guy after Emmanuel Navarrete destroyed him in the second fight. He's the number one contender right now. He's the number one contender. That guy's not done. Now, I don't know how that fight with the guy Reyes, the guy who just beat my guy for the 126-pound belt.
That would be
Ray Vargas.
Ray Vargas. I called him Reyes. Like, I don't know how that would go for him. I like Vargas a lot in that fight, actually.
Yeah, me too.
But the bottom line is, people's ready to throw dirt on him, and he'll be fighting for a title if he so chooses to do that next.
But let's keep in mind, and I understand what you're saying. Dogbay not done, but let's keep in mind that he had a tough swing fight with Blue Nose Lopez. Could have went either way. The fight with Christopher Diaz could have went either way, and his last fight that he just beat Joet in could have went either way. So he was at a certain level. He lost to Navarrete twice, but even the fights after, these are still close fights. It's like Dogbay. I'm just talking about him in particular. He has he got a knack for like losing fights late, or letting fights get closer late. Just like who was somebody else that fought today, and it was like, yo, for some reason this dude Conlon. Yeah, like Conlon. Yeah, like Conlon. Like, for some reason, like late in a fight is like you start giving the fight away. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know, but that's a good comparison talking about Dogbay, because a lot of people was ready to throw him away after that. You know what I mean? But
and one time I talked to Cholin Cepeda. I met him one time in person through a friend of a friend, and we were talking about his career. And it was at this point he had lost to Jose Ramirez, and he had one more fight after that. But he was saying like he was kind of down on his career, and he was like, I probably missed my opportunity at a world title. And I was telling him, I was like, I just don't see it because there's so many opportunities out there. Like, PBC throws so many fights a week, a year. DAZN has a fight every weekend. ESPN has so many fights a weekend. Like, how could you have? To me, you're a credible name. You have a tough fight with Jose Ramirez. Like, to me, you're going to be right back in there. Like, I think that you'll be fighting for a title again. I even told him I think you'll fight Prograis one day because he doesn't have a lot of opponents, and you make a lot of sense for him, especially if he wants to fight Ramirez and get back to that. It's crazy how it played out that it did play out that way. But yeah, it's just because there's so many opportunities. There's too many opportunities right now. Never been more in boxing. I guarantee if Maurice Hooker wants to fight again, I'll watch him on TV. He will be on TV. I'll see him again.
And that's one thing. PBC got the world beaters. Top Rank got the dates. You know what I mean? So PBC got world beaters, but they all fight once a year. Top Rank got the dates. They Top Rank is keeping these guys out, and we got to be mindful. What's it? McKinson. He just fought the guy because he fought a guy on the undercard. Was it Alex Martin or whatever?
Yeah, the guy that fought on the undercard London today.
That wasn't even 4 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
That McKinson fight, that wasn't even 4 months ago. That Blair Cobb is knocked out by Alexis Rocha, that wasn't 4 months ago.
Yeah,
like a lot of these dudes got dates, and that's the only thing that PBC's lacking. They got the fighters, they got the spectacle. Like, I love going to PBC shows. Like, it's dope.
It feels big.
But
though, the problem though, and I read about this recently. Fox basically pulled the plug on all of those events, so that's why we're getting less and less boxing from the PBC side this year. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this Charles Martin and this Luis Ortiz pay-per-view, and then the debacle that was Keith Thurman and Mario Barrios. It's like Fox basically said, all right, we're done. Y'all just going to have Showtime. We don't want anything to do with this. Their last live TV event was the event that we went to I think it was the event that we
on
went
Christmas,
to.
with
Yeah, on
Vito.
Christmas Day. Yeah. Why is that fight on Christmas? Like, I went to the damn fight. I wanted to go. Like, I'm close to it. I wanted to go. But how are you selling this on Christmas Day? Prospect fighting in the main event on the main
That fight
card.
did 1 million views though.
Because it was fucking Christmas.
Smart move.
It was fucking Christmas though. That's why.
But that was a smart move. Now, granted, we sat in there all day because we boxing fans, so we watched Vito with 20 other people, like you know what I mean, because there wasn't that many people in the arena in the Prudential Center. But I think that was a smart move. But I think that one thing that PBC is lacking, the Zone obviously is an app. Top Rank uses ESPN Plus very well,
Exactly.
and I have ESPN Plus. PBC does not have an app. They don't have a streaming platform. And it's like, okay, cool. We'll take the fights on Showtime. We get it that Fox is slowing down unless they are getting the Crawford Spence fight or whatever, which would make sense because they can promote that with the NFL schedule. That's my thinking. But
Showtime could too. I mean, Showtime could too with CBS.
Yeah, but there's no games on Showtime. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I'm saying CBS. They could go through CBS because they're owned by CBS.
Okay, facts. But now I just think that PBC, they need an app. Like obviously they put the certain fights on YouTube, but that's not going to work. There needs to be some type of app, whether it's the PBC app or some kind of app that we could download and get these PBC fights. They need to maybe go to a Friday night fight, how they do the showbox cards that are on Friday. It's so many ways that they could be creative and get these guys dates.
I think what they need is the app makes sense, but what they just need is a second network. They need a second network to buy in, basically. And it seems like you said Fox kind of they did this last year. They were giving you warning signs last year, like we're out. They signed to a 1 more year deal. I think they told them like we'll try a few more, but most likely we're gonna put everything on pay-per-view. That's putting basically all the gambles on the PBC side, right? And PBC probably knows they're gonna take a loss on it, but if what people pay for it, it'll deduct what the loss is gonna be. It's interesting. At the end of this year, they're no longer with Fox. Where do they go? Where are they gonna go at the end of this year? What other network are they gonna sign with besides Showtime? Because Showtime does excellent for them. They put excellent cards there. It's all very good. It's some of the best boxing you can watch, best production value, but they need something else to get some dates for the other fighters. That's the thing.
They might be looking at NBC.
That's what I heard. NBC, Peacock. I heard the app.
They were when PBC first started. They were with NBC, so they might be looking to go back.
I mean, and Ring City was just on. Now I know Ring City is being sued for not paying employees and all that other good stuff, but Ring City was just on NBC. I don't know what the numbers did. And I think that it was like fighting on Tuesday. It was like weird days, like Tuesdays and in the Wild Card Gym parking lot. So you wasn't paying no fucking site fee. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they got to do something, man. Because a lot of these guys dates, like we still ain't getting nothing for Mel Charlo. We ain't getting nothing for. Beyond Mel Charlo, it's a lot of guys. We still thinking what's next for Leo Santa Cruz. He's supposed to be fighting again. Like it's a lot of guys over there that's like, yo, what's up with these guys? What's going on with Spence? If Spence don't fight, then what's next for Spence at 54? Like it's crowded up there as well. I want to see him fight Erickson Lubin, but that's just my personal opinion. But I mean, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of stuff to take into account, man.
It's a big. There's a big need for live sports on apps, and I'm talking about Netflix. I'm talking about Hulu, and I'm talking about Amazon. And Amazon has moved into it
NFL.
But they moved into boxing.
Football. Yeah.
They moved into boxing in Japan. They covered they had the Murata fight, Golovkin. They had the Inoue fight. So they moved in right there. So that's just like them testing it out, testing the market, right? They could easily just say, okay, we'll take half a PBC schedule. We'll put it on here, and you know what I mean, and fill it out. Because they need live events. They need people to keep paying the monthly subscription.
For sure. And Amazon Prime got NFL games this season too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thursday night football. I hate it. Keep the shit on NFL Network, man. I watch football more than boxing. Keep it on NFL Network. I don't understand why I need to get Amazon now to watch Thursday night football. It just feels like a sham to me, especially you're doing a disservice to the NFL fan. I hate it.
And then they took the Sunday Pass, right? Who has that now? Someone they took? I know DirecTV's gotten rid of it. They don't want it anymore. Did they get
They
that to Amazon?
created some. They
They
created
created an
some
app
app.
for it, right? An
Yeah,
app for it. Yeah,
they
yeah.
created an app, and it's like, what's next? Like y'all already y'all have created more playoff teams, so now y'all got to put a playoff game on a Monday night. Stupid. There's people that's working on Monday nights. Like that. That's a playoff game. I might miss a playoff game because you putting it on a Monday night.
Yeah, yeah.
We know that the weekend should be for the playoffs. Like, what is next? You gonna put playoff games on Amazon Prime? Is that's what the NFL coming to?
You know,
That's why
they were thinking of putting a game on every every night of the week.
ridiculous.
But there's laws to it, right? Because then they could say they're monopolizing basically TV. Because if the NFL was on every day, that's all everybody would watch. No one would get any ratings.
Yeah, they was thinking about doing that because of the COVID season from 2020. And I remember there were games on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think the Bills and Titans, they played one game on a Tuesday. There was like 3 games on a Monday. Like that COVID season in 2020, that was crazy. So that's what that idea that came from that, and they were getting high ratings. So that's why there was a discussion about that.
Yeah, and that's why the DirecTV wanted out the NFL deal, because there was too many prime time games that they were like, well, we ain't getting no good games. So, and you have the red zone, so everybody just basically watches the red zone for fantasy football. So it's like, what do we do here? What do we really have here?
Damn, I didn't even know. So that Tevin Farmer fight, which is on the 12th, that's next Friday. I don't know what it's airing on, but
it's a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Shit.
So we got but it's some fighters
Trello, they'll pick it up late. They got shit else going on for them.
I'll probably find it on Fight TV. But I'm surprised because Truck Simpson is fighting on that card. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, didn't he just fight? Am I tripping, or he just fought?
I don't know what's up with that guy, man.
Yeah.
And Keenan Carabao, the one that just fought Leo Santa Cruz, Keenan Carabao.
Yeah. Can't think of his name. Go ahead. Yeah.
He on that card, and Tremaine Williams that lost that fight to Leo. Leo was it Angelo Leo? Cool boy Steph had the COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
So that should be a high card. I could care less about seeing Mickey Bay and Tevin Farmer. That's my personal opinion.
They were supposed to have it in Ghana, I remember correctly. That was the first.
No, it was supposed to be. Yeah, it was supposed to be Africa. It was supposed to be Africa at first, but then they canceled. But like I said, I think that Teofimo Lopez, that card gonna be real good. You got Xander Zayas coming back. Maybe he got sick in Australia, so you got him coming back. Duke Reagan is on that card. Troy Isley is on that card. And another 140-pounder that's young that I'm high on, Omar Rosario. I don't know if you know Omar Rosario.
Not to see him.
Yeah,
he a top ranked contender, a Puerto Rican guy. I think he real good himself. So we'll see. We'll see.
I gotta tell you that this weekend I felt the whole of not having Jake Paul fight. I'm gonna be honest with you. There was a point.
That shit was. He's still talking about a non-weigh-in for that.
A fake weigh-in. Yeah, fake weigh-in. He missed weight. Fake weigh-in. Then he missed weight in.
But for me, I'm a developmental guy as well. So just like tonight, how I like seeing Floyd Schofield. He was he's still a highly touted like prospect. One of the ones that has.
He looked pretty good.
I was surprised that he signed with Golden Boy. Just like me, I pay attention. So if I seen the shit Received went through, I'm not signing with Golden Boy. But that's just everybody's situation different.
Did he sign with Golden Boy? I'm not sure he signed with Golden Boy.
I think he got like a co-promotional deal with them.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like I don't know if you remember, but remember the prospect from Top Rank. I can't think of his name. Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis fought on a Matchroom card. He fought on a Matchroom card. He fought, I think, on a PBC card, and he was just kind of filling everybody out. Keyshawn first. It was his first fight. His pro debut was on the Canelo Yildirim undercard. Yes.
In Miami. That was his first card. Then he fought the African guy I think the guy put salt on his gloves. It's like something, he put like pepper on his gloves or something like that. That was on an ESPN card. That was on the Frampton Herring undercard, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And then he fought again on the Zone and then he went back to the Olympics, and after that, he signed back with.
So he kind of did like a tryout thing for everybody.
He never fought on PBC, but because he was looking for somebody. Now him and both of his brothers box, so he was looking for somebody not only to pick up him, but he wanted somebody to sign him and his brothers and his promotional company, the DB3. So a lot of people don't realize. I think Keyshawn Davis get a bag for boxing, and he get a promoter bag too, just like Devin Haney. That last fight, it was Devin Haney, but it was DHP as well. They got a bag from that as well. So I think Bob's starting to understand too, like, hey, these young guys is coming in here, they want to do other things, and we got to accommodate if we want the talent. You know,
I'll tell you, Bob flipped the script at 90 years old. At 90 years old, Bob has a whole new mentality of boxing right now. He has like the best young talent in boxing.
Yeah, nah, he definitely do it. So Top Rank they're gonna be good for it. They squeezing water from rocks. How they crabbing money? I think so too. A lot of them guys, they're gonna be good, man. So, I think I don't want to, let me rephrase this. Sooner or later, Top Rank will be under a different leader per se, right?
Yeah,
Bob Arum not gonna be here forever, so them not being able to make pay-per-view stars, that may just be a Bob Arum thing because for lack of not wanting to pay guys. But I think still having that machine of ESPN behind you, signing all of these new prospects, all of these Olympians, I think that maybe in the future, Top Rank will be able to make some pay-per-view stars, starting with Shakur Stevenson.
I'm curious who takes it over when he's done. I'm very curious. I know he has, I think his son-in-law is like, I think he's really in there. And I'm curious what he does with all the other guys, because they have a lot of old timers that are, like giving advice, and you hear all the things that are said backstage with those guys. But I'm curious where they go, because they have all the young talent. They're going to need to spend on them to really get them built correctly and move them to that next level, because they don't build pay-per-view stars. I mean, that's just it's obvious. I know I got a lot of pushback when I posted on Twitter the other day, but no, they don't build pay-per-view stars.
But but you got to think so that let me see. The card on the 20th with Navarrete, he got what card is Jared Anderson coming back on? He coming back on one of these cards soon.
That's not. Oh, I thought that was next.
No, that's the 27th.
Oh, okay.
And I'm thinking about that as well. He on a Comey and Pedraza undercard with Jared Anderson, like the next great American heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I mean, he's one of those guys that all he got to do is keep progressing. And as a heavyweight, he's going to fall into pay-per-view. You know what I mean? As being a heavyweight, once he get into them title shots and establish and get a title, 1 or 2 defenses, I think you got a pay-per-view star in the heavyweight, American heavyweight. You know what I mean? I would like to see Jared Anderson and Philip Hargovic, whatever how you say his name. I would like to see Jared Anderson and a Frank Sanchez down the road. You know what I mean? So I think that Top Rank is in a real good position right now as far as stars. I think, I don't know, PBC, they doing well too. Like, of course they got the show, they know how to put on the show, but it's still a verdict out on some of them guys at PBC.
It's so hard to project futures for Top Rank fighters though. Like, I feel what you're saying all the way. I am of the belief that they will invest in Shakur Stevenson, because it's a lot there to invest in. And I like the little they had this little 15-minute special with him, like kind of a day in the life special, and they're not doing that for many other fighters. So I could see that they're trying to experiment at least, and that's with Bob Arum still around. As far as Ty LaBeouf taking over, I don't think he's going to take over in name, but he's going to be the guy behind the scenes that's like really running things, kind of like what Triple H Paul Levesque is doing right now with WWE. Now that Vince McMahon stepped down out of the CEO role because of his scandal going on with paying women or whatever. I don't really want to get to that, but Stephanie and one of the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think his son, they're the ones who are like the co-CEOs right now.
Yeah, the guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he owns the AEW. Yeah. He owns the AEW. So there is another guy in there, but I don't remember what his name is. But yeah, they took over basically the company.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, that's. I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I think Top Rank got some stars, and I think that's another reason I was talking about this before. That's another reason why Devin Haney, no matter where he's at, he's not getting a Lomachenko fight. He's going to fight
Well,
Kambosos. He's going to
that's an interesting
vacate.
point.
He's going to move up because, and I said this before. Why would Bob Arum or anybody at Top Rank? So this is the thing with Lomachenko. Lomachenko is one of them guys that whoever beats him, you get put over. Why would he allow Devin Haney on the last fight of his contract with Top Rank to beat Lomachenko and then be a superstar when the guy that you've been building since the Olympics, Shakur, you can let him fight Lomachenko and win, and then he's put over at 135, and now you got a real superstar.
Okay, but let's say though, what if Devin Haney says no? What if he says no? I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay at 135, and I'm going to stay undisputed. You have one more fight with me. You guys decide what that fight is. I want Lomachenko. I'm not moving up because it'll make no sense for me to drop the belts when I'm about to be free agent. So I'm going to stay here. I want Lomachenko. That's the biggest fight for me. I think I could get paid the most in that fight. Why would I give it to Shakur? Right? So I'm right here. What do they do in that situation? Because can't make him drop the belts.
Don't forget it's Bob Arum. He'll put you on the fucking shelf.
He can't though. He owes one fight though. He really can't though. He has to. He would have to say every year he has to offer you a fight, right? He has to offer you something. He's going to take whatever. They don't got no one better than Lomachenko to offer him, so there's nothing he's scared of at 135. Yeah. He's like, I'll take it.
He values Shakur more, though. You definitely could get that he values him way more.
I know he does, and I know that if he probably wants Haney to sign long term, but just to say Haney doesn't, and Haney says I'm not dropping the belts, and I ain't moving up. Your move, Bob. What is Bob doing?
Stubborn, man.
That's a stubborn play, but Haney been saying that, like, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be here, and I think that he would rather move up and get another title than to kind of play hardball with Bob. Because okay, let's say you do play hardball with Bob and he give you a Lomachenko fight, all right, but now where you gonna go? You gonna go sign?
Yeah, because he's a free. Okay, if he beats Lomachenko, right, he's gonna be a free agent. There'll be a mega fight with Tank Davis right there, all the belts, or there'll be a mega fight with Ryan Garcia, all the belts. And Haney will legitimately have commercial value at that point because he's had 3 fights on ESPN and he just beat Lomachenko. He would be in the best position of any free agent in a long time in boxing.
I don't think so, Ezra. I think they're going to forever. I think Devin Haney is going to be one of them guys. He's always going to have to get his love through the sanctioning bodies. I don't think they're going to be willing to make no fights with Devin. I don't care how high. I don't know what is it. Maybe it's his face. I don't know what the fuck it is with Devin Haney. I like that. I'm a Haney fan. I just think that when other promoters and managers are looking at Devin Haney and his style, they're like, no way. Like Devin Haney, like as much as the boxing casuals hated that fight and some hardcores hated that fight too, he beat Kambosos with a jab.
Yeah.
We seen Teofimo Lopez go life and death with a motherfucker that Devin Haney beat up with 5 different variations of a jab.
What were the ratings on that fight? 1.3 million people saw that fight.
For sure.
Now, when he was on the zone, we just assumed no one was watching those fights, right? That's just what everybody assumed. No one watched the fight. He couldn't back it up and say, no, people are watching it because it doesn't benefit the zone to give his competition the ratings and say, yeah, no, actually he is watched, right?
Yep.
ESPN has to say it, right? They had to release their what their viewership is, right? And it was 1.3 million. That means there is eyeballs on him now. Now, if he fights Kambosos again and he does something similar, and then he fights Lomachenko and they double that or triple that, and he becomes a free agent, the money is just going to speak for itself. The reason why Ryan and Haney fight didn't happen before is because they weren't built up enough. At that point, Ryan would have beat maybe 2 tough guys, maybe the winner Jojo Diaz and Cepeda. That's a good fight for him. He wins that. Haney comes off of these fights, and they come and match up. It makes sense at that point. It cooked enough at that point. Tank Davis is already a big star. We already admit that. Haney grows his name. He's going to be a bigger name than anyone else that Tank could possibly fight. Sure. And they could make that fight. That's a big fight. I think you'll be in an excellent position. I just don't,
man, Mayweather Promotions Mayweather Promotions is hanging on by a thread, man. They hanging on by Tank Davis.
Yeah, they got one guy. Yeah,
and I don't see them even making I don't even see them risking it. Like, I think that if he wanted that fight, they could have hollered at the WBA, like, listen, man, we done fought mandatory after mandatory. Like, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, let us get this.
Hey, don't sleep on Richardson Hitchens, man.
That's what I'm saying. Even if they don't want to risk it,
he's not on Mayweather Promotions no more.
He not.
No,
He left.
yes.
That's news to me.
But
He
even
left.
if you
Telling
don't,
me something. Damn, I
even
didn't
if they
know
don't want to
that.
risk it with Tank, right? They don't want
That's
to risk
crazy.
it. They're running out of options. Don't matter. There's tough fights coming because Frank Martin's a
Yeah.
tough fight, right? Ryo's a very tough fight, right? That guy could have elite power and elite timing, right? So either way, the tough fights are coming. So then at one point, when you have all the tough fights and you're backed in a corner, you choose the one that makes the most money. And at that point, it might be Devin Haney, right? Because maybe the Ryan Garcia thing can never be figured out with two networks. But if you're Devin Haney's a free agent, you could sign him and you're going to get everything on your side of the deal on one network. It might be worth it.
Hell yeah. We're gonna see, man. I just
Oscar, he gonna throw every wrench that you could throw to keep that fight from materializing. I feel like when it comes to the negotiations of that fight, it's gonna be that side that
You talk about
prevents
Tank.
that fight from
You talk
happening.
about Tank and Ryan, right?
Yeah,
Tank and Ryan.
Oscar is gonna prevent that fight from happening because I know deep down in his heart, he don't believe it's the time yet. As much as we would love to see that in November or December this year, temper your expectation.
Yeah.
I expect both back in the ring this year. I just don't know who against.
But they're not going to be against each other.
But again, and this is because again, I say this: Floyd Mayweather and Oscar De La Hoya do not have a problem giving their fighters money. What they have a problem with is giving their fighters the fights that will help them achieve the legacy and that they will be compared to them. You know what I'm saying? So Floyd don't mind giving Tank money, but he's not going to put Tank in those fights to where when Tank's career is over, they're comparing a Tank to a Floyd Mayweather. Same thing with Ryan Garcia. I don't think he minds giving Ryan Garcia the money, but I don't think he wants Ryan Garcia to actually fight the fight that gives him a status legacy-wise that then challenges the Golden Boy. You understand what I'm saying?
I can see something. I can see that, but also they just don't have any guys that generate money for them, right? Tank basically is the money team, right? Ryan Garcia is basically Golden Boy. Vergil Ortiz isn't sounding like Ryan Garcia. Zerto's not sounding like Ryan Garcia. Munguia's not sounding like Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is a legitimate potential superstar. Tank is a superstar. Those guys, they rather make money with him what they can now. With every fight that they feel is winnable and is sellable, right? And they usually do, like, let's say Isaac Cruz, let's say Barrios, right? They feel like we could get a crowd behind these guys, but we don't feel like they can legitimately win this fight. We feel like we are favored in this fight. We should win this fight if he does everything he needs to do. Ryan Garcia, they feel like, should win all the fights that they're putting him in because that generates money for their company. If Ryan Garcia goes and fights Tank and loses, that's a big hit to the cash flow for their company. So they can't take that risk. And I think it's basically two small promotions saying, I'm not willing to take that chance. Yep. And that's really what it is.
We're gonna see, man. I don't know, man. I just like for guys like Tank, man. I know he getting to the bag now, but I just can't help but to think once he get 35, 40, he's gonna be looking back at his career like, damn, like you gave me the Money Mayweather treatment from the beginning. Like we talking about Tank Davis, and still his best win is Pedraza in 2018. You know what I'm saying? That's rough. That's rough that your best win is Pedraza, who and that was a win at what 126 or one? No, was that a 126 or 130 win?
130.
That was a 130 win. That dude fight at 140 now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Pedraza, and he done went on and won and lost and all of that since then. It's just like after Pedraza, you got a Leo Santa Cruz who you fought at 130, who that wasn't Leo Santa Cruz best weight. You know what I mean? Like that might have been his first fight at 130 or something like that. You know what I mean?
It was
second. Okay, cool. But
yeah, it wasn't to me. Leo Santa Cruz isn't his best at 130. I mean,
and how long was it? And I guess they both was having layoffs, but it's just I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Hey, first of all, give me a second, man. Hey, shout out to my man Derek, man. This dude sent me a DM of a $10.
You see that? I sent me that too.
He sent me a DM of a $10 bet he placed tonight, and he won $1,000, man. Hey, Derek, shout out to you, bro.
Best part is it wasn't even his 10; it was a free 10.
The free 10 off the free 10. Man. You should have gave me the 8-leg parlay. Hey, you should have gave me the 8-leg parlay. Derek, come on, man. You know what I mean?
That's a come up right there.
Hey, listen, Derek, stack that money up because if they announce Crawford and Spence, That's your hotel money right there, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's your flight and hotel money, man. Hey, shout out to Derek, man. Word up.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, bro.
I wanted to say something about Javante Davis, and I'm probably gonna head out after this.
Yeah.
Um, where Javante Davis is at his career, I would not say he's a superstar. I would say he's a star. I would say when you talk about boxing, he's one of the recognizable ones that if you saw them, you would know who he is, or you'd be like, "Oh, I've seen that guy before." There's not a lot of boxers in this sport today that has that type of recognizability amongst, you know, casual fans, I want to say. But this is the thing. If he stays at where he's at in terms of level of competition, this is as far as he's going to go. And that's not the potential that he actually could reach if he was fighting the guys that we want to see him fight. So that's something that I think Floyd Mayweather he needs to think about, and he really I think there's a little bit of ego involved, and also he's thinking too much about money over giving the fans what they want. But I think if you just think about the fact that, you know, whatever he's doing right now, it's not going to get any better. You know, something's got to change.
I do
I
have
just
one
think
idea for you before you get off, and I just want to hear you
Uh,
guys' idea with this. And this is because I thought about this. What pushes Tank over the top, right? Like you said, Tank's a name. He's a star. You don't consider him a superstar yet. Maybe not the level of like Floyd Mayweather, of course, Canelo, like those guys, right? They do like 800,000 buys. What would push him over the top? So I studied a lot of guys' careers, the fight to push him over the top. Floyd Mayweather was pushed over the top by De La Hoya. Manny Pacquiao was pushed over the top by De La Hoya. And a lot of times it's a certain weight class that pushes him over the top. So my idea is Tank Davis versus Keith Thurman, 147 pounds. Keith Thurman has never been more beatable than he is right now. Tank Davis, if you do the measuring stick fight, you got Barrios, which Tank Davis finished, and Keith Thurman wants a decision with. So I would say Tank Davis versus Keith Thurman, push him over the top. I think that fight, if he wins that fight, makes him a superstar. I think that fight does excellent pay-per-view because you're going to be like, he's moving up. He's fighting a guy you know is credible and has never lost before.
I don't like that fight. Because 147 for Tank slows him down.
Okay.
147 for Keith. Keith is going to be Keith. Now, I think he's still susceptible to body shots.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tank still could probably try to get him in there, but just adding all. Remember, Tank was weary of Barrios for like the first 7 rounds.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I think the game that they playing with Tank is some weird reverse psychology where it's like, well, they're allowing the Tank to beat these certain guys because let's say, all right, well, let's look at Cruz, right? Cruz may not be a big win on Tank resume now, but look where we kind of projecting Cruz to end up. I think Cruz will get a belt at 35 eventually. I think he will do some good things. So now in 5 years, looking back at an Isak Cruz win on a Tank resume, I don't think we having the same conversation because I think that Isak Cruz will go on to do greater things. Like even if he fight a Michelle Rivera, that might not be a good look on his resume. But I think post a Tank fight, I think Michelle Rivera to go on to do some good things, maybe at 140 or something like that. He'll have a little bit of success. And 5 years down the line, that's a different conversation than today per se. So I think that's the game that they playing with Tank. They picking the right guys so that you could. It's like, well, he's the mandatory, so we got to fight him, or we're not fighting guys that's not PBC guys. But I think they picking guys that got upside, but they letting Tank get to the guys before they really become who they are, so that later on down the line they could revisit this conversation. Well, y'all said that, because Leonard Ellaby like the fashion Mayweather promotions as some type of geniuses, right? So, or y'all said this about Tank fighting Isak Cruz, but now Isak Cruz is blah blah blah, like, you know what I mean? Or now Michelle Rivera is blah blah blah, like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to see him at 147 against Keith.
Yeah, I wanted to say this before I leave, just to respond back. You asked the question, what would be the fight that would put him over into superstardom? I'm of the mindset you can't sell nothing quite as good as black versus white, and so you got Josh Taylor at 140 pounds. He's holding a few belts up there. You could stage that fight over in Scotland where he's from. That could be a pay-per-view event. It'll do decent numbers because Josh talks and he's gonna try to get in Tank's head. I think the promotion for that fight will be really good. And like I said, black versus white, you can sell that. And of course, there's the other option that isn't gonna happen because it should have happened years ago, and that's Vasyl Lomachenko
Yeah, that's what I want.
against Tank Davis. That is a fight that you could sell. How Top Rank has put the promotion behind Lomachenko in the past, if you put that up against Gervonta Davis and his notoriety and the fact that he's got Floyd Mayweather's backing, those are the two fights that I'm thinking of in my head that you go from being a star to becoming a superstar.
Yeah,
Well, that's gonna be one fight because Bob Arum ain't letting Lomachenko put nobody over but Shakur Stevenson. For real, he not put because if you beat Lomachenko, you are like the man. Like Lomachenko lose again, he has to fall off that pound for pound list, right? Now they gotta give in and concede and say, hey, Lomachenko might not be what he thought he was. He was a great fighter. Maybe he was just a little bit too old. You know what I mean? But a win over Lomachenko is gonna put you over, and I think that they just gonna reserve that for Shakur Stevenson at this point.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna head on out now. It was nice, joining this chat. We got some good boxing today. Was able to catch the events. We got some more good boxing next week. So I'll definitely be on if A-Side's on, and it was good, chatting it up with you too, Easy.
Hey, I appreciate it. Good talking to you too.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Guys. All right. Yeah, man. But I think we had a good night of boxing, man. Yeah, man, we gotta see it. Man, I want to know what's next for Vergil Ortiz and what's next for. McKinson put on a good performance. I think he hurt his ankle. I don't think it was the body shot that really dropped him. I think he fucked his ankle up or something like that.
Yeah, I don't really know where that injury came from.
When he came in the round,
he was limping. I was like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, he started limping and all of that. He did look pretty hurt. But he was grimacing real bad that second time. He was like, "Oh shit, I'm about to go."
Maybe it was that Maurice Hooker injury type thing though, where it was
I don't think it was quick, bro. Yeah. Oh, my arm. Yeah. He said, "Man, fuck y'all." Nah, man, that shit. We'll see, man. But no, I think I'm gonna head out of here too, Ezra. Man, I appreciate you having you on, man. I appreciate the trolls. The trolls. Hey, if y'all want to troll, man, just subscribe so y'all can know when to come and troll. You know what I mean? I ain't mad at that.
I don't get where they get the time.
Me neither, man. Hey, but like I said, I'm gonna go upstairs in the room and lay down in my nice
exactly, man.
They're probably in the fucking in the shed somewhere or McDonald's Wi-Fi. I don't know.
Exactly.
Well, all right, man. Appreciate you, man. We're gonna log out. Hey, whoever, if y'all still on, make sure y'all go to Ezra page, follow him. If y'all haven't, man, hit the link in my bio. Follow me. I do videos. I'm doing interviews. I think I'm getting ready to interview one of the PBC prospects, a young guy, Rajon Chance. I've been trying to get him. So we'll see, man. I know I got some things coming up, but like I said, man, follow me, follow Ezra. Ezra, anything you want to plug or put out?
Just Ezra podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever the hell their podcast thing is, and then Ezra Boxing on Twitter. And Ezra Boxing on TikTok as well. Now I don't do any dances or anything like that, but that's coming. So,
all right, hey, listen, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. A-Side Boxing, man, we out.
All right, peace.